So last time we discussed characters' motives, and the most basic motives are sufficient for flat characters, ones that basically serve as props. You know, like the women in a lot of action movies. And where they just serve exactly one function, or they're there to be a coupon from get to point A to point B, or a reward. Let's go beyond that, because sometimes we have to. And as a DM, you will discover that the most well-researched and well-written character you've created will be the one the players spend the least amount of time with. The ones which you just randomly come up with off the top of your head, and you pick the name out of Wikipedia at random search. That's the one they're going to bond with forever. That's the way it happens. So, what do you do? Well, first off, we got two great tools already in in D&D 5e. First, let's look at the Dungeon Master's Guide. This is a great book on writing. In fact, it's one of the best books on writing. One of the few books that's better than it on writing for beginning writers is Stephen King's book on writing. Also, Raymond Chandler's Simple Art of Murder. If you are interested in writing, pick up those two books and read the sections on campaign creation, story creation, character creation, and so on in this book. It's very good from the perspective of a starting DM and a starting writer. The next thing you got, which really helps, is this bit in the Player's Handbook. Backgrounds. The Player's Handbook has a good idea as to backgrounds, and it have a really good way of creating a punch list of the things that you need as a writer when you create a character. And they are, and I'm reading from here, personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. Those four things can build a really good character if you put any thought of that. And you don't have to put much thought at first. You just need high level. Flaw. Our waiter is always looking for more money because they're poor and they're a waiter and they want this. So what do? Maybe they snaggle a little bit of gold from their clients, the customers. Maybe they push high-end drinks, serve the low-end stuff, and pocket the difference. I mean, maybe they try to jump in on anything they feel is a get-rich-quick scheme. Maybe they're just hardworking and they really think that if they do a good job, people will appreciate it. There's a lot of different things you can pull from a flaw, okay? And flaws don't have to be physical. Flaws are very often not. The waiter could be a narcissist or extremely vain and take a lot of pride in their appearance and therefore get upset when people make messes. Again, we're developing a character based on some basic, very simple elements, which can be just one or two words, but then can open up into a much larger paragraph of description just by thinking those one or two words. Bonds is important, but we'll get to it later in the next video. I promise. Personality traits. These are very important. These are things like tics, patterns of behavior, outlooks on life. And they can vary from insignificant. For example, I have a mild stutter, which you may or may not hear in the course of these videos. That's a little personality trait. How the character deals with that is a significant part of the character's persona. It can inform you. For example, for me, I just bludgeon straight through in a kind of a Porky Pig style. Other people get really embarrassed and they stop talking. Some people just kind of stare off into space until it goes away. They just pause. Okay? Each one tells you a different thing about the character. Okay? And there are many other ways of dealing with a slight stutter or a big stutter Or you can make an entire movie which everyone will praise, but no one will watch, and for good reason, because who the hell wants to see a story about rich white people having a problem in public speaking? I mean, well, apparently the Academy did. So, again, small thing, big impact. Because if you know that I'm going to barrel through any stuttering problems, Porky Pigging it the entire time, then that tells you something about the way I handle any problem. Okay? If I'm going to just shut down and wait till it passes, that tells you I have a level of patience, which me as a person and me as a character would not necessarily have. You know, if I am going to just stop talking to people because I'm afraid of my stutter, that tells you I'm shy. Okay? And there's a good reason for it, too. It's not just I feel uncomfortable around people innately. I feel uncomfortable around people for a very good reason. So, you know, again, small elements, big impact. Focus on that when you do characters. Ideals. Ideals aren't religions. They aren't political systems, economic systems, or something like this. Ideals are much simpler than that. Ideals can be anything from optimism to pessimism to cynicism, stoicism, and so on. Okay? Your ideals may involve something like kindness. They may involve something like self-satisfaction. Okay? Again, small little elements. Pick a virtue or vice and make that an ideal. Okay, let's go back to our vain waiter. So the ideal for the vain waiter is to always be not just presentable, but the most presentable person in a room. The best looking, or at least attired, person in a room. Even if they're not wearing the best clothes. Even if they're not wearing the most expensive jewelry. They will be the one. They want to be the one. They not necessarily will be, and therein lies conflict, which is a big part coming up. They want to be the one that people look to and remember as like, damn, you fine. I feel awkward as a white guy saying that. But the sentiment is important. So, again, small element. Now we know something. We know that the vanity has fed into an ideal, which has fed into, we know this guy or girl spends a lot of time on their clothes. We know that they're very impeccably turned out. They have appearance agenda. They have a poise to themselves. They may think they're better than this place. This is just a pit stop on the way to them working at a palace. Okay? Being a major domo, something enormous like that, or being recognized. If we're talking medieval era, they would not want to be an actor because that was possibly the worst profession you could be a member of, in terms of how people treated you. But if we're talking modern era, they may want to be an actor. Maybe they want to be recognized. Maybe they want to be an influencer for some reason. Everybody likes free stuff. Even if it's essential oils and accounts on Raid Shadow Legends. So, now we're entering into goals. Okay? And that, again, derived from one simple thing. Start small, expand out, think further. Okay? We're going to say that this person wants to be a major domo. Okay? They want to be in charge of a household. They want to be in charge of a household which is big and important, and as important as they feel they are. So now we have these things. Your personality traits. We got your ideal. We got your flaw. We've developed a character that started flat, person who brings item A to point B and gives it to someone. And we've gone from there to having someone who has hopes and dreams and the like. And we haven't moved much in terms of effort but we've moved a long way in terms of creating someone the player characters, the important ones, are going to identify with.